Okay, let me get a screen up real quick. Oh, we just opened. All right, so today, again, we'll be scalping the NQ, the Nasdaq on New York Open. Holy Earth, good morning. Francis, let's make some money. Let's go. Let's go indeed, Francis. Andy, great to see you. Cody, great to see you again. Sean Evans, how is everyone doing? Damn, look at this open. Holy moly. Let me just bump this up to like 12 maybe. Yeah, that's a bit better. All right. I mean, where what has happened today? I mean, today's been started off a bit bullish, kind of consolidated, starting to look a bit bearish, not gonna lie, but I'm not completely convinced yet. Yesterday, though, I don't know who it was. Someone said they were going to place a limit order, a sell limit order at 250 on the dot. And I hope they did, because we got to 250 on the dot and absolutely had a amazing sell-off. Really, really nice pullback. We're talking how many points? Yeah, 145 points. So hopefully they caught that. Hopefully other people in the chat also caught that short yesterday. I did catch it, but truth be told, I got out like around here somewhere. But you know, I don't know. We'll see. Let's have a look at the volume. Today, I do have a Ola Prime, a brand new Ola Prime challenge account, a futures one, 100K. So we can actually hopefully trade, but it is just a challenge account. So I'll say that right now. Chart is not on. Chart is not on. Cody, can you not see the chart? Can everyone see my screen? Just your face. Oh shit. Okay. Let me stop sharing and reshare. No worries. How about now? Can you guys see it? Let me know in the chat if you can see now. Yes. Okay. Strange. I mean, it was sharing earlier, but I don't know. But as I was saying, I'll just go over. Yeah, if anyone did catch that short yesterday at exactly 26,250. Oh, what a beautiful trade that was. Don't get them every day, sadly, but when they do come along, you know, you just want to trade the reaction essentially. So that was a really, really nice trade. But how's everyone doing? Let's have a look. Crypto, good to see you. Holy Earth, Cherry, Chart with MG, great to see you all. Mark, how are you? Good morning. All right. So I'm still relatively bullish on this market for now, but today the bears have been pretty good. I'm not going to lie, they've been pretty effective. I mean, what does kind of worry me is just, you know, for anyone who wants to be bullish, a little bit worrying, you know, how we had these really nice sell-offs, pulled back another sell-off, and then we consolidated. It looks like it's just taken out all the stops and now going down, but I'm not completely convinced we are going to be bearish properly. I think we can still drop a little bit. There's loads of really nice areas we can trade off. We got a nice gap there. We have a gap from yesterday, I believe. Oh no, that was so this is yesterday, a gap, but then we got another one there, got another one there. So there's a lot of areas the sellers would have to clear, right? We've got another one all the way down here. I mean, that's far away, but there's a lot of, you know, dangerous areas. So I'm going to be more bullish as we get to those areas. Which one am I most eyeing up? Hard to say, to be honest. I mean, I do like this one just because it's pretty much, you know, at the low of the day. So, but I do feel it can easily break it. This one I'm a lot more interested in, but I just don't know if we're actually going to get there, truth be told. I mean, it can happen. And then we got another one there. I'm going to just draw that out. I'm going to get rid of this one. because this one is an old one from ages ago. Draw that out like so. That gives us, a few areas we can bounce off. But until then, yeah, I'm gonna let it, sell off a little bit, be a bit patient, and we should be able to catch a trade. I mean, volume wise, we are in the negative now, cumulative, and we have yet to actually take out the low of the day. So, the low of the day is all the way up here. Down here, right? And we're already at negative 1,000. So there's still a little bit of a divergence, It should technically be a bit more on the positive. So the sellers have been far more aggressive today, but they're still the weaker side, if that makes sense, right? So let's see how, okay, we're getting to the first area. So this is the first area of interest. Let's take a look. What do we have? I know we got a low around here that looks like we just took out. Yeah, we're getting a bit of buying coming in, but I'm going to be a bit cautious, to be honest. Peter, good to see you. Daniel, Coach Z, how are you all doing? Really, really good. So, sorry about that. I was just trying to get my cash account open on the other screen. Here we go. All right. So I'll have potential trades loaded up there. I am seeing a bit of buying. That does look like a bit of profit taking was happened there, but not a lot. Only 119. I didn't see if that spiked up much, but I still think the sellers got more. There we go. Bit more profit taking or stops getting hit. So people exiting the markets. Again, a bit of actual real selling coming in. They look a little bit. The buyers are definitely trying to use this opportunity to buy, but I don't think they're aggressive enough yet. And I really don't like the fact that, most of the buyers are still kind of up here. But I do like that we took out some stops. We took some, sellers got out the market. Oh, there's a bit of aggression. Oh, all right. Maybe I was wrong on that one. The buyers did come in. They did come in. But I'm going to hold off still a little bit. Juan, how are you? Good morning, Sammy. How are you today? I'm very good. How are you, my friend? Oh, that looks nice. You see how those sellers got trapped? Oh, that happened too quick, but that was very nice right there. This right here was beautiful. Unfortunately, the candle was already quite high up by the time I saw it, but that's beautiful. You see how fresh sellers came in instantly, just couldn't push it down. Buyers tried to come in above. Yes, we're just taking out that high there. So we had some kind of, people exiting the market now. So maybe sellers can take it over, but in that split second, that looked very nice for the buy side. But they didn't quite carry it through once they took out that high there, that little range. Sellers just came back in, pushed it down. So it looks like we're still in that range. So we'll wait a little bit more. I've got one click trading on. Should be fine. And then we had that kind of, what is it, trade bar. That was it. All right, so we'll just do we'll do 100 ticks on both sides, and then we can manually change it, and then we'll do 5 micros. All right, so we are kind of ready to enter the market at any point. Might have to make that a little bit. All right, that works. Cool. Again, buyers coming in this little gap, but sellers, they are very aggressive. Look at all these fresh sellers right now. So this is really where the battle is, right? If these sellers fail and buyers manage to get above them again and come in aggressive, we can go long. But at the moment, they're not really failing. Buyers are holding that area quite well, but it doesn't, those sellers instantly defended. I think sellers might take it here, to be honest. Maybe not. Oh, buyers are coming in. Damn, they're moving so quick. I mean, technically, yes, you could go in for a buy, but we're already at the top of that range. There's a good chance, what do you call it? Sellers will just come in here again and push it down. So, but theoretically, those sellers are trapped. They're going to have to get out the market soon. If they get squeezed out, it might be a good move. But I'm a little bit cautious because they are very aggressive at the top here. So it's not the best place to enter. And you can see buyers are trying to come in. I think that's some sellers dropping out. All right, why don't we go in for a quick buy? Let's just do it and see if we can get back up to the top here somewhere. We don't really want to go lower than 382, so I can put my stop just below there, about 380. Like I said, there's a good chance sellers are going to come in at the top here and push it back down. It might not be a breakout of the range just yet, but let's see. What I'm betting on is that these buyers here are going to defend, and hopefully now we see some big, buyers come in a little bit, but it's not enough. You see that only about 30 or so came in. They're not defending massively, so I think it's just going to rotate back down again. So, all right, didn't quite work out, that one. Didn't quite work out. But that's why I put a very tight stop, because, yeah, whew, what the hell? Look at that. Someone is, maybe that's news or something. That was a huge order. Let's reload anything. No, nothing yet. But yeah, this is very rangy and battly right now, so maybe hold off a little bit. I'm going to make the clusters a little bit bigger because, truth be told, they're quite small. Ange, good to see you. How are you? But we're getting to that first gap down here, which is going to be more interesting. But again, buyers are still happy to transact. Now there's a lot of sell volume. I feel like sellers might start failing soon. I don't want to jump the gun because I would be front running if I enter with these buyers, because there's a good chance those buyers fail. I don't really want to jump the gun on it. Not yet, at least. Not yet. All right. Just, you see sellers are happy to transact a bit lower now. 135. I mean, get above them, it's okay, but this is very dangerous. I think sellers are going to push it down a little bit more, truth be told. They're just a little bit more aggressive. Buyers are coming in, but then they're not really doing much. I think after that big candle we just had a couple of minutes ago, I think some buyers are a bit spooked, and I don't blame them, because let's be honest, that is a nasty candle. Look at that, 200 on the sell side. Peter Honsalek says, what indicator are you using on your chart? So Peter, it's not an indicator. It's a chart type called volume footprint. Now you can get it in Trading View, but you need the premium Trading View, and you need a CME data subscription. So there is a video on my channel. It's titled how to set up the footprint charts or something like that on Trading View. If you watch that video, it will show you exactly how to, set it all up. Chart with MG. Sam, will you be trading live or demo? Today, this is a challenge account, so it's demo. Okay. So this is an 100K Ola Prime challenge account with the DX Futures platform. So it is demo today. But I do have my live account on the other screen that I will also be trading. But I trade that a bit more selectively. But I will announce when I'm jumping in on my live account, though. All right. So you get to kind of know when buyers, that volume distribution is looking a bit better, but sellers are still willing to come in. I mean, if buyers, they might just take it now. They might actually do it. But I don't want to jump the gun here. I'm still not 100% confident. It's just the sellers are a little bit too aggressive for my liking, you know? They're just a little bit too aggressive. Look at that. They're coming in again. They're constantly trying to get this market down. I mean, this open has been disgusting. If you actually look on the candlesticks, what a nasty open. Just completely sideways. It looks like a heart monitor, like a barcode. So not the nicest market. Let's just put it that way. I've seen better markets. Let me just move this out the way. It's kind of blocking my arm. There we go. So nothing yet, nothing spectacular yet. We're still kind of waiting for essentially to get out of this range, give us a bit more kind of clarity, because yeah, you don't really want to be trading in this kind of barcode market right now, because you know, buyers, sellers, I mean, buyers are going to keep coming in, sellers are going to keep coming in. You don't really want to be in the middle of it as well. It's a little bit too risky, but it does look like buyers are doing a little bit better. Sellers are still coming in, buyers are kind of holding them off. But it just takes, you know, one crazy aggressive seller to come in heavy like we had in that other candle, and we could potentially just, it's too, you can't defend yourself against that. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of like emotion in the market almost. And that's very dangerous to kind of trade against. So best to kind of wait, sit on your hands for a little bit, because we're still, I mean, in terms of how much, who's in the market, I mean, there's a lot of sellers in the market. Yes, you know, a lot of that volume at the bottom here is going to be, you know, buyers who entered anywhere here basically getting, you know, stopped out. But then we got some fresh buying again coming in. We have some fresh selling coming in. We're kind of above a lot of sellers. Buyers are trying to squeeze out basically these guys here, but that came in so aggressively, I wouldn't be surprised if that was a little bit on the insider trading, and we might just get a random spike down. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if we just get a sudden move down potentially, just because it was so, I don't know, it was very aggressive. But we'll see. Maybe something will come out. Was there any news that came out? No, it's still nothing. So that wasn't news related. That was just someone being very ballsy, or they know something. So in a weird way, I'm kind of more in on the shorts, you know, right now, just based on that. Look at that, sellers coming back in again. I'm going to just draw out that low, or draw out that high. So that's where all the stops, etc. are. Peter says, bro, I suppose if we go above all-time highs, we will be flying blind in terms of volume profile data. What do you do in those circumstances? Very true. So in those circumstances, you can only really go look for pullbacks. And then, you know, as we move up, there'll be loads of little gaps created, similar to what we had recently, actually, the last few days. I mean, if you're looking at, like, you know, as we push up, all this push up, it created all these little gaps. So if we kind of, you know, come back into one, then you can buy again, essentially. That's kind of the only play you really have. So yeah. But this looks very, very range bound. This could be a range bound day. It really could, Mark. On days like this, when the open is so up and down, it usually, there's a good chance you have a very rangy day. But we'll see, right? Someone's got to lose eventually. Who will it be? That's the big question. But I would still very much be looking to buy in this area here. And then, if that area doesn't work out, fine, then I'll look at this area here. But I still think the buyers are willing to buy the dip essentially in this market. Was there any news? No, Daniel, there was no news. Haven't seen any important news yet. Exactly, May. I wouldn't be surprised if something comes out though. Because don't get me wrong, it's not necessarily unusual that someone wanted to short at the top of this range. Like, yeah, okay, that can absolutely happen. But it was very aggressive. I mean, it was ridiculously aggressive. So it makes me a little bit suspicious, So in terms of scheduled news, we don't really have anything anymore coming out today. Nothing that I would really worry about. So it will just be unscheduled news. All right, we're getting down to the lows. Let's see. Let's see what happens. I think the buyers are just going to give up and it's going to plop down. There's a little bit of a spike there. All right, there it is. See, as soon as the buyers just give up, boom, you get that reaction. But now the question is, are buyers willing to buy it up? Look at all the buy stops getting basically cleared. The question now is, are buyers going to keep buying? Are they willing to jump back in a little bit, but not a lot? Not a great deal at the moment. Still waiting. We haven't really had any reaction in that area. There's a bit of buying coming in now, but it's not a lot. It's not really spectacular, to be honest. I want to see a bit more from the buyers. I'm just going to gear up a potential buy in my cash account. I haven't yet entered anything. It's looking a bit better, but we want to see how good those buyers are, right? Like if they just get plowed through and all right, you don't want to jump in until they actually seem to be a little bit better. And I want to kind of test the sellers as well. We have yet to test the sellers properly. I want to see some real sellers come in and fail. But look, sellers are coming in and they're doing very well. So we don't really want to go against them just yet. Buyers are coming in, don't get me wrong, but they're just not having any luck, are they? There's some real sellers coming in. They're doing very well, so it's not ready yet. Those buyers just completely essentially failed, right? We're just going to keep waiting. Go to the next area, I guess. Is this the area that's going to do it? Who knows? Look at all that volume. Crazy amounts. 160, 180. There's no real buyers coming in yet. And again, we want to see sellers fail, essentially. A little bit of buying, but nothing spectacular. Nothing yet. It's all very very weak from the buy side. No, not yet. Sellers are still coming in. This is a hell of a sell-off, guys. Damn. Are you seeing this? Tom, great to see you. How are you? It's been a long time. Been a really long time. We're still just waiting for sellers to fail, essentially. This is all we're doing. When are the sellers gonna fail? Exactly. Don't chase it. Just be nice and calm. Don't chase it. All these areas just easily cleared. Oops, something happened there. I was about to zoom out and have a look. All right, we've had some buyers come in, but again, look, they're not really doing much. Still not ready yet. We want to see sellers come in heavy. They're failing a little bit. This is the first, I would say, sign of sellers starting to fail a little bit, but it hasn't been spectacular yet. It's the first little bit of worry from the sellers, I would say, right? Just came in. First tiny little bit, but it's not anything you'd really want to enter upon, you know? Could be a slight pullback, but nothing spectacular yet. Oh, there. All right, well, they came in, but that was like the first little kind of sign where you saw sellers kind of struggle a little bit there. It wasn't strong enough for me to like actually want to enter. And then some big buyer just must have saw that and just came in. But all right, it's fine. Don't chase it yet as well. I wouldn't chase it just yet. But that was the first kind of, first little bit. And look, sellers are willing to come back in at the top there. So we'll give it a few seconds. We'll kind of, let it calm down a bit. But I don't know if you guys spotted that. It's very hard to kind of pinpoint exactly. It was just around here. Sellers were like, you saw the sell numbers get a little bit bigger and they kind of became jittery. They just, all of a sudden, they just weren't really pushing it down. It was kind of going up a bit every time they kind of came in. You saw that first kind of sign of failure occur. And then, all right, some big buyers decide to come in and they just pushed it up a bit. But doesn't mean we're going to, instantly go up now. Sellers are still willing to come in. That whatever it is, 258, that is definitely, some sellers getting basically out the market. Still a bit. These are the sellers we're interested in right now. Are these guys going to fail? Right? ZT content, good to see you. Halfway to funded again, Tom says. Amazing. Man, I've been great. Well, sort of. I blew about 8 funded accounts this week. However, my return on investment on those before blowing up was about 9K. So load up 5 more. That's incredible, man. It happens. I mean, it's been a very difficult market recently. I did the Sam special this morning, full port short. I love trading. Funding trading is so different. It's been a while. Absolutely. You got to treat it different when you're funded. But this, just want to point out, this is interesting. These guys look like they might fail here. This might be okay. I just want to see if the buyers are willing to come in a bit. 40, 17, they're still all right. I'm going to go in for a quick buy. I really don't want to go much lower than that 29, whatever it is, 292. So really I can have my stop. What is this? 88. So yeah, I'll have it below that wick. And I'm kind of hoping the buyers can, at least kind of get it back up to here somewhere or wherever they fail. So I'll have my finger on flatten. But I'm hoping, because these sellers are going to be, they're real sellers. They're the ones who are feeling the heat now. So if buyers are able to kind of, get above here and kind of push it up, it is a front running trade because really you kind of want to wait for the squeeze to actually occur. But I'm kind of guessing buyers are trying to squeeze these guys out here. So this is, and then I want to see, sellers drop out. So I want to see big buy numbers appear ideally around that black line. I want to see them get squeezed out. Squeeze. But I do have my finger on flatten. If big sellers come in, I'll just get the hell out. There's no point kind of waiting because there's a good chance sellers will just try and short it at the top here. Let's see if they drop out. Moment of truth. No, the sellers are coming in still. They're shorting it, sellers. They're not willing to get out just yet. Come on, buyers. Add. Come on, buyers. Plow through there. Come on, make me proud. That's it. Bit of a chunk of buyers came in there. That's it. There we go. There's some sellers dropping out. Let's keep that momentum. Come on. Oh, more coming in. Get above them. Come on, get above them. Don't fail. Come on. Come on, buyers, get above those sellers. Don't fail here. Get above. They've got it. These freaking sellers might have it. I'm going to give them another couple of seconds for these buyers to get above those sellers. This is the moment of truth. Come on, buyers. You've got this. They're just not coming in. They're just not coming in. I'm cutting it. They're just not coming in, these buyers. Very close, though. Very close. It was those sellers again. They're just a bit too eager. Look, buyers are willing to come back in a bit lower, but not enough. They needed to come up here to get past these sellers and then really clear them out. Just didn't have enough, strength there to come back in. But it's all right. We can always jump back in. That's the beauty of scalping. There's always another opportunity. If it fails, it fails. So again, I want to see sellers failing, right? I don't want to jump in just based on buyers. I want to see sellers fail. $100. I'm trying to see if sellers are willing to keep shorting at the lows here, because if they decide they don't really want to put size on at the low, that's usually a good sign, but they might be exhausted. Oh, that jumped very quickly, but it's not ready yet. I haven't actually entered yet. I've just got my finger above the button, which creates that kind of bracket. I like that 109. I'm going to go back in. And we can literally have our stop below that wick there. And let's give it another go. I think buyers might want to take another go, another stab at it. This might be a very similar as before, where I'm just going to have to get the hell out. But I think buyers are taking another stab at it here. Because again, we kind of trapped those sellers there, failed. Now we really need to get above, these highs and squeeze out the sellers. They need to add size, these buyers. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. So I've got my finger on flatten. I want to get above that 177. Come on, 40, 50, 189, 176, 196. That's it. Bit adding, but not a huge amount. 170, 159. You see sellers are still coming in. Look at that, 128 on the sell side there. We need to get above that shit right now. Need to get above it. Come on. Come on, buyers, get above that. That's it. Come on, push them out. Good boy. Come on, 70, 47, 62, 78, 53. They're just not adding enough. They need bigger numbers. Maybe another 200-300 contracts, I think, on the buy side, and they could actually break this level. We just need a little bit more aggression. Come on. You've almost got this. 78, 110. That's it. Bit better. Oh, back down. 102. Come on, reload. Keep reloading. Don't make me have to exit here. There we go. Good. 96, 119. Come on, always at the highs. The sellers come in. Come on, reload. 110, 113, 106, 88. Sellers are still coming in. They're pushing that number down. That's it. 104. Come on, one more push. Break it. Come on, boys. 51. That's it. Come on, keep going. Keep going. Damn, they're just struggling a little bit. Come on. Add 65. There we go. 74, 92, 128. That's it. Keep adding. There's definitely an iceberg. We're about to break it. A little bit. Oh, we went all the way back down to 20 from like 100 something. That was a big chunk of sellers. They're coming in aggressively at the top here. Come on, squeeze those bastards out. Let's do it. There we go. Squeeze them out. Come on. Add. Where's their stops? We still haven't seen them drop out, really. There wasn't a big spike, a little bit, but we haven't seen majority of sellers haven't actually gotten out yet. There's still sellers in the market. I would have expected their stops to be around here, but we didn't really see a massive spike in numbers. So sellers are still in this market. We need to keep squeezing them out. They haven't been squeezed out yet. Come on, keep adding, buyers. Keep adding. Keep adding. Don't fail here. Oh, look, sellers are still willing to come back in because they're still in this market. Come on, buyers. Get above that 74. Nah, it's not going to happen. Might not happen. I'll give it another couple of seconds. If not, I have to get out. It doesn't look like they want to do it. Come on, buyers. Don't lose pressure here. There we go. Come on. That's it. Get above. Get above the 50. Get above it. 68, 65. Sellers are still adding. They have yet to be squeezed out, these bastards. They're still in the market, which kind of worries me a little bit. I expected them to drop out around here. But buyers are going to have to keep that pressure up in order to squeeze them out. Hopefully, any second now, we see a big amount of buy numbers just appear, and that tells us, aha, the sellers, there they are. Boom. All right, sellers are squeezed. Come on. Now we need more fresh buyers coming in to prop this up. There's a bit of fresh buying. Prop it up. Come on. That's it. Good. Keep buying. We need real fresh buyers to keep this market afloat. There they are. 66. Come on. Keep going above. Don't let those sellers push us down now. Come on. Add, you bastards. There we go. There's more sellers dropping out. 200, 250. That's it. They're all slowly getting squeezed out here. Come on. Let's keep that momentum. We need fresh buyers to jump in on this sort of momentum and keep this market up. Come on, boys. The moment I see buyers start failing, I'm just going to take my money and get the hell out. I'm not going to be greedy here. Come on, boys. Come on. Oh, come on. Add. There we go. 79, 41. Get above. Oh, I don't like that. That's a big chunk of sellers. Let's get above them quickly. Minus 50. I don't like it. Come on. Get above. Sellers are still willing to come back in. They're trying to short it at a good price. As long as buyers keep them, that's it. Don't let them get any major ground. Now we can start moving our stop, I would say, below that 256, maybe around there. We can start trailing it a bit, just in case there's like a crazy seller that comes in and just shoots it down. Don't really want to be involved in that. So I'm going to be a bit more on the secure side. This is good. These buyers are fresh. We need those buyers need to hold the line now. I'm going to get rid of this black line because it's kind of in the way a little bit. But these are the guys we need to hold the line. So our stop can now be kind of below here, right? So I can actually trail it a little bit more. Because if those buyers fail, then this move is basically done for. All right, we can keep trying to trail it above. Maybe we can, I'm just going to put my take profit really far away because the likelihood is I'm going to manually exit at some point. And you never know, you might get some crazy spike, big buyer comes in and just spikes it. And I'd rather get spiked out at the top here than, lower down. All right, what happened there? 196. Okay, we're in that kind of range. This could be where sellers are trying to take over. So these guys need to fail, right? We need to see failure from these people. Fail. These buyers need to hold the line. This is where it matters. These guys here, hold that line. Defend. Those 152 got to defend. Sellers are still trying to come in. They're going to try and take these buyers out. There's a bit of defensive play. See, buyers are jumping in that area, but if they fail, then we're going to get a retracement and we might as well get the hell out. So that's it. Good. Come on. A little bit more. They need a little bit more power, but they're slowly starting to look a bit weak now, buyers. I could flatten here, but considering my stop is so close, it's fine. I might as well just give them that extra. You never know. Give them a few extra seconds. They might just make some magic happen. There's a big chunk, 90. Good. Come on, get above. Nah, it's not going to happen. They got below them. I think this is where buyers, unfortunately, might fail a little bit. Oh, they're actually, no, I spoke too soon. They came in. Come on, boys. Come on. A little bit more. These. Oh, the sellers are not having it, though. They are being really, really savage here, these sellers. That's it. Come on, more buyers are adding into it. That's it. Come on, keep adding. As long as buyers keep adding, at least we stay, we hold our ground. The moment they stop, that's when sellers can take over again. So as long as buyers keep adding like that, we're good. So again, our stop kind of has to remain the same place. That's where all the buyers came in again. It's these guys that matter. If these buyers fail, yeah, we're fucked. We're not fucked, but there's going to be a pause. Basically, it's not going to be that much. There's going to be some kind of potential pullback because sellers could take over. So it really comes down to these folks here. Come on, boys. But you're starting to see at the top here, which is a little annoying. Buyers just aren't that willing to buy here. We'll give it another few seconds. Maybe they're willing to, just come in heavy a little bit, actually. -12 there. Okay, I spoke too soon. They're coming in a little bit, not massively, but 20 signed contracts ain't the worst. But sellers are still happy to come in. Come on, buyers. Let's just add. You got to add at the top here. What we need is heavy buyers willing to come in here to pop it up above. Of course, there's going to be buyers willing to come in at the low here. That's expected. But we need buyers willing to come in or be more aggressive in this area than sellers are. Then we can make another leg up. But until then, we're either going to remain flat and buyers are going to hold, sellers. And we just kind of go sideways for a bit. Or buyers give up a bit, exhaust, and then sellers can have a retracement. So either way, where my stop is kind of where you want it to be, 27, 43, 50, 46, 50. It's all just kind of small little chunks, nothing major yet. A bit of a better chunk there, 32, 25. But look at that, sellers knocking them straight back down again. We need to see bigger numbers. I'm talking like 100 or something plus. We want to see, 70, 80. All right, 48 is a bit better. Oh, there we go. There we go, boys. Definitely some sellers getting stopped out in this area. Oh, beautiful. Well done, buyers. All right, but will they keep the momentum? This is the big question. Buyers are definitely, there's a lot of, difficult to tell if that's a lot of fresh buying or if it's, stops getting hit, etc., because we're in that range. So this is where it gets a little bit dangerous. Sellers are coming in. I want to see real buyers come back in. 61, 49, 37. They're getting absorbed. 71. They are reloading a bit, but boom, they're getting instantly kind of, that's it actually. 76, 105. These are real buyers. Again, these are the guys that matter right there. If they fail, we're fucked. And it looks like they might just fail a little bit here. Oh, big sellers coming in. All right, I'm taking the money. So the reason I got out, we did have fresh buyers come in here. And yeah, they must have triggered something because instantly the market went down against them and then sellers were coming in heavy below them. Now, don't get me wrong, buyers can come in again and push it up, but that's a little bit worrying to me. So I'd rather, all right, let's not be a dick, take the money and just, wait for the next opportunity because this could very well be a pullback. And if you're up already a decent amount, you're at the point of control. You've got this nasty, where the open was. We know that there are sellers at the open who are just going to take another opportunity, try and short the shit out of this market. All right, let them have their fun and, let's look at the chat. Sorry, I did this. I saw that it was a brutal run up these past few days. Of course, I kept shorting it. ZT content, it has been brutal, but yeah, it's tough, man. I fully get it. I do have to go though. Taking my daughter to the pool, and this is why I love this lifestyle and do this. Can you believe I've been trading for a full year now? Looking back, how did I make it? Tom, amazing. Have a great time with your daughter, and we'll catch up soon. Henny, hi Sammy, which is the better scalpers market, NQ or gold? NQ by far, definitely Henny, definitely. If you're talking like footprint scalping and stuff like what I do, then definitely NQ. If you're doing like candlestick scalping, truth be told, I don't really, I've never really traded gold, so it's hard to know. But yeah, with footprint, 100% the NQ. Rev, good to see you. Any updates on your footprint indicator? Been a while since I asked. My version sunks nonsensical signals. The works. No major updates yet, unfortunately. I've yet to work on it, but I promise you, over the weekend, I have a bit of time. I'm going to start working on it again. So yeah. May got out of this one. Going to take the little win for now. Kind of nervous with this price action. Well done, man. Well done. Glad you managed to catch that trade. Nice little 2 wins. Don't want to get greedy. Exactly. Once you've made a bit of money and you're happy with it, cash in, man. Come back the next day. There's no need to keep over trading, you know. Don't get greedy. All that. That's good psychology right there. We've got the point of control of the NY session. Yes, absolutely. The point of control right there. Especially where we opened. It's going to be a bit choppy around here. There's going to be another battle, essentially. I feel like sellers might actually take it for a bit. They're just a little bit more aggressive, but the buyers did very well in this move up. I got to say, they kept kind of, you know, willing to buy at the highs. They were doing quite well, but we'll see. I mean, it's very hard to determine who's going to win this little battle here. If you must trade it, I would say trade it like a range, right? So if you must enter for a long, enter at the bottom here. It's going to give you your best shot of, because that's more likely where the buyers are going to come in. So like around here, I personally wouldn't want to enter, but if you must do, you know, enter near the bottom of the range. Because if you're wrong, then, you know, you can have a stop, just a little small stop, but try not to chase the market at the highs, you know. Also, while getting ready, I left the stream on. When I come back down, she's shouting with, oh shit. Oh dear. I'm sorry, Tom. I didn't realize there were minors watching. Tell your daughter that was a very bad word I said, and she should never repeat it. I take full responsibility of that. Oh dear. Kids gotta, you know, they got a mind like a sponge. They pick up on the worst words, unfortunately. Does the footprint not work efficiently on the footprint for gold? Is that why? It works, but not as good, Henny. It's just because gold is a huge market, you know, really, really big market. And the futures market, so what's traded on like COMEX, is just a smaller chunk of the overall gold market. So whereas NQ and ES, like the futures market, day-to-day kind of intraday trading is the majority, you know, of what makes the price move for the most part. So what you see on the footprint really does have a genuine effect on, you know, minute per minute movement on NQ. So that's why I would say it's better to trade like NQ, ES, etc. Whereas gold, I would less scalp it. I would do more kind of swing trading with gold, more sort of longer term kind of moves. But yeah, scalping can be tough with gold. All right. You bad boy. Are we getting on another chance for a long? Potentially, but it really depends. I mean, at this moment in time, definitely not. I wouldn't want to go long yet because the people who did go long, they're suffering right now. They're in drawdown. They're probably going to get squeezed out. So we just need to see sellers fail. So in order to always make a decision, whether you go long, short, whatever, you want to see the opposite side fail, not just your side jump in, right? So at the top here, we saw buyers fail. That is why I exited, purely because of that failure there. And also because of sellers coming in below them. That's just scary. Do you know what I mean? Like those buyers failed and then sellers were very aggressive. I don't like that. That is why I exited here on my long and thought, nah, not worth it. Sellers at this moment in time, not really failing. Buyers so far, you can see the volume distribution. Buyers are generally at the top of the candles. We're trading below buyers, so they're currently failing. So yes, there are buyers coming back in, but they're just getting absorbed and eaten up. There's nothing there yet. So we'll just have to kind of wait. How did you see that the buyers failed? They were on top with good volume. So it happened in the moment, right? So we saw a lot of buyers come in, right? And we know like at least these guys are fresh buyers, real buyers, right? And in that second, it looked like they were doing okay, but then instantly they got pushed down and sellers came in. Now that's essentially failure, right? They came in heavy, they couldn't even move it up a few points and they instantly failed. And then sellers were taking advantage of them very quickly. So that was like the first sign of trouble. Couple that with the fact that we're at the point of control. You know that at the open here, this is obviously the open. You know there's sellers willing to come in. It's a little bit worrying, you know. So I decided just to take the money there. So here, okay, so this could. Truth be told, I didn't quite see what happened here. I wanted to see live what happened here because that could have been another indicator. But we're just trying to see if sellers are failing. So sellers, excuse me, sellers did try to come back in. It looks like some of them got stopped out. Buyers are coming back in. This is okay. Keep your eye on this market. This could be, again, it's not definite for any side yet, but here is a little battle going on. What you're trying to look for is heavy sellers coming in and failing, and then buyers willing to buy. Right, so we're seeing a little bit of sell pressure come in, but they're doing okay at this moment in time. They're still okay. They're kind of holding that line. They're coming in. They're doing okay. So it's these guys we're trying to keep our eye on. These guys here, look at that. These are the people we need to keep our eye on right now. They're coming in heavy. Are they going to? They do look like they're failing a little bit. I'm not going to lie. We just need to see a bit of buyers come in now, willing to actually buy, and then we could go in long again. But we haven't really had any major buyers come in. They're not really aggressive. Sellers are coming in. Come on. We want to see some buyers get above those sellers, and then we potentially have a move here. But no, that just wasn't any. The last piece of the puzzle didn't happen. Buyers did not come in. All right. We did get a bit of failure from the sellers. Oh, maybe. All right. There's a bit of buying coming in. But it's not a lot. It's only like 40. It's not a lot. All right. I'm going to go in for a buy. Because sellers do keep failing at the bottom. Oh, shit. What have I done? And then I can literally have a stop below that wick there. Because if what do you call it? Buyers have yet to properly come in aggressively. But if they do, I think they can take it a little bit here. Because there does seem to be something happening in this area here where sellers keep getting kind of absorbed and failing a little bit. So I just want to see aggressive buyers like that come in. They took a few seconds and now break these highs here. There's a good chance, though, as we get to the top here, that sellers are going to willing to come back in. We're essentially in a small range right now. So if buyers can't break this high, better just take your money, because otherwise you're just going to rotate back down. But really, your entry would have been when those buyers actually came in. I front-runned it again, as I always do. But I need to see now buyers willing to keep coming in at the highs. Come on, buyers. 11.34. You see, you're not seeing any buying coming in, really. 103 is actually more sellers coming in, which is not good. That's it. Trap them. There we go. That was good. You see how... Come on. Add more. Add more. That was nice. That was really nice. You see how the sellers came in and instantly that failure happened? Now we need heavy buyers to trade above them and push this market up. We need more. Clearly, we need more. All right, 70 have come in, but we need more because it still hasn't really pushed up. So we need a number bigger than 70 to get this market up. And we don't want to release those sellers. So we don't really want to go below that 197 right now, or that 178 or whatever it is. We don't want to get below here. Ah, shit, I hit flat. Fuck me. I didn't mean to hit flatten. Ah, absolute. my finger slipped and I accidentally hit flatten. Shall I get back in? Fuck you, piece of garbage. You're such a... Fuck you. All right, that was annoying. That was very annoying. I had my finger over flatten and my mouse accidentally, I just put a little bit too much pressure on it and it freaking executed. All right, fine. Either way, I probably would want to be getting out after that little spike there and be like, oh, what happened there? So I think I would have probably got out now anyway. So technically, it would have been probably about the same to trade. So no harm done, but it is what it is. So you need to watch every second to see any sign of up and down. Exactly, Daniel. On the delta footprint, you need to watch it in real time, right? Like you really, really do. Gives you the best. Eddie, good to see you. Hi, Sam. You're using a demo account. Yes, so this is a challenge account from Ola Prime, DX Futures. Obviously, I work for Ola Prime. They've asked me to trade on their Futures, DX Futures challenge account for the live stream. So that's what I'm doing. But like, as always, I have my live account off screen, so my actual cash account. And I do mention when I enter those trades. Why so stressed? That's demo account. It's not stress, man. It's not stress. It's passion, Eddie. Passion. You got to be passionate. You got to, you got to hold yourself to a higher standard. If you make a silly mistake, you got to be angry at yourself. If you make a silly mistake, it's not about the money. Obviously, the money's, like I said, it's just a challenge account. But it's, if you make a silly mistake, you gotta tell yourself no. I hope the miners are watching you without sound or their ears. I do. Yeah, I do. I do swear a bit. I do apologize. Don't worry, Sammy. My kids already think I'm psychotic. Got it. No problem. I have a lot of passion today also, Coach. It's good to be passionate. Andy the Greek people are very passionate people, right, Andy? So it's in your blood to be, a passionate person as well. So I totally get it. All right, let's try and decode what the hell is going on now. So again, I think it was Daniel who was asking, right? Yeah, so we did get that failure in those sellers. Now, yes, I did front run that trade. I'll be brutally honest. Probably not the best point to front run. But because of that failure there, I was hoping I jumped in like around here somewhere on this candle. I was hoping the buyers would take advantage of it, and they did. They did come in, But if they didn't come in, then all right, fine, I would have got stopped out, right? And then sellers again failed here, and well, we've kind of, it's been a bit choppy, but sellers are still willing to jump back in. But I do think, look, buyers are happy to buy higher up, so that's a very good sign for the buyers. But again, you don't want to chase it already when it's quite high up, because they could very easily, think of it like, the best way to describe it is, the higher up you go, the more the probability of sellers willing to jump in. And the lower down you go, the higher the probability of buyers willing to jump in, right? And also the opposite's true as well. The higher up in the market you go, the lower the probability of buyers willing to jump in, and vice versa for the sell side. The lower down we go, the lower the probability of sellers willing to jump in, because everyone's trying to call the tops and bottoms, essentially, right? Everyone wants a good price, right? It's human nature to, rather than buy here, you rather have bought down here, right? So if the market goes back down here, you're more likely to be like, okay, well, I could have a really good trade here, because I can enter here. If I'm wrong, my stop can be here. That's a small stop loss, but my gain is all this. Whereas if you jump in quite higher up, like here, well, your stop realistically, like most people, would have to be down here. And now you've got to have, the market's going to move a hell of a lot more to make it worth your while, right? So whenever you see, as we get higher up, if you're still seeing buyers, if you're in a buy already, hypothetically, and you're seeing buyers willing to keep buying higher up, that's generally a good sign. But they're going to keep pushing it until they fail, obviously, until they fail. Have you said you need to see 70 buy sell? How did you get to that actual number? Okay, Mark, so that's more just like an estimate based on, I mean, look, it could have been 70, could have been 100, could have been 150. The true number, I don't know. Even if you have the depth of market, you probably won't know, because everything is an iceberg order, essentially, right? But that's more just kind of, what's the word? It's more just kind of like an estimate. You're looking for like a bigger number, basically. If the average number or chunk that's coming in, it's not so much just a number. It's the chunks of volume that come in. And what I mean by chunk is, if you just look at the last, so look at this 44, went up to 57, back to 48, 53, 44. They're about 10 chunks, right? So every time this number moves, it moves in about tens. So it's not a huge chunk, right? They're relatively, a bunch of smaller kind of traders just sort of adding. Doesn't really mean that much. But now if you see, if it goes from, let's say this 71 jumps to 271, oh, well, that's a really good chunk of 200 in one go. That right there is a big player. And they're going to have a lot more money backing them. So if they're more likely going to defend, they're going to be able to move the market more, So you rather be on the side of the person who just dumped 200 orders rather than people dumping 5, 10. Do you know what I mean? Because they're collectively, all right, they build up a big order collectively, but they're all individuals. Some people, if the market goes back to them, some people might get out, other people might add a little bit, but they can only add 5 contracts or so. They're just minor people. Do you know what I mean? So the market can very easily just break through them without much problem. But the big boys, yeah, they can actually keep the market up, So when you're looking at the numbers, you're not just looking at the overall number, you're looking at the chunks it's moving at, right? And you're kind of just looking at the difference. You're looking at the delta of the delta. Does that make sense? Essentially, to kind of give you, where's the real aggression? Because we're always trying to look for, bigger players in the market, not just a collective, right? So when I say like 70 or something, I want to see like a big 70 order chunk, Like right here to break this high, I want to see, you know, we're at 63. I want this to jump to like 150 maybe, and then we can boom, you know, like 28. So it's jumped a little bit, but not massively. Negative 21, but it's just not enough. Do you know what I mean? The chunks are too small. So let's just keep our eye on it, and you'll see when that chunk happens, if it does happen. Hopefully it does, and then you'll see what I mean. So we're at 12, 25, 23, 10, minus 61. That was a big sell chunk right there. Not good for us, right? So we need buyers to quickly chunk, like trade into that. And they did. They managed to get that minus 60 all the way back to 10. So they propped it up. But we need to see buyers come in heavy. There was a bit of a chunks from 50 to 70, 78. It was probably about 30 chunk, not massive, but a bit bigger. 80, 90. We want to see this go to like 100 something. Went to 100, but it's still like 10, 20 contract chunks, not huge. So keep your eye on it. 91, 9, 6, 10, 25, 16, 11, 19, all small numbers, negative 13, 17, 27, 21. It's all just very weak. 34, nothing great yet. 21, I'm sorry, 7, 21, 8, 12, 10, 21. I'm just waiting for a big chunk on the buy side if we want to break above, right? 6, 2, 7, 9, 21, 34, 52. You see the sellers got a little bit bigger chunks, I would say, which we need to have a big buyer come in. Otherwise, we ain't breaking this. 29, 32. It's all just little contracts being traded. 40, that went a little bit. 60, there's a bigger chunk. 70, boom, there it is, right? Did you see that in real time? As soon as the bigger chunks came in, right, in that area, now these guys are the guys who got to defend. So if the market goes back into this area, they should be able to defend the market. Now, look, only because they're big players doesn't mean they're always going to be right. They can also lose money in the market, right? But this is going to be your highest probable chance that these guys are going to be able to defend it. Hopefully here, you know, as sellers try and short it, we want to see these guys because we've now established there's a big player in the market right there, right? They put in maybe 70 or 80 or so in one go, right? And we want to see, you know, more and more be added. We want that momentum to continue, right? So I hope you caught that in real time. If you didn't, just watch it back in the live. You can always watch it back and you can see what happened in real time there. But that's essentially what you're looking for, right? So now, like, say you were in a buy, if you go much lower than that 61, where they kind of came in this sort of area, all right, fine. Then they're probably going to get squeezed out. Their stops might be around here somewhere. So if you enter, you know, here now, your stop can be just below that candle. Now, look, there's big sellers coming in, but they ate it up from negative 100. Sellers are still trying to come back in. Ooh, look at that. Big sellers coming in. These people might start dropping out now. We want to see them defend. If they don't defend, then all right, you're out the market. And it doesn't look like they did defend a little bit up here, but we want to see them defend here. This is the moment of truth. They're kind of defending. The numbers are dropping, but it's not huge. But it's hard to determine whether those buyers are still in the market. I think very hard to determine because we did see a big kind of number, but it did, at the same time, they did add here as well. So I don't think they completely got out. We're just seeing if they're willing to defend. $12, $6, $14, $22, $14. There's not huge orders coming in, but there is like an iceberg or something kind of stopping them a little bit. The sellers aren't giving up, but I think There is some defensive play, but it looks like they might get squeezed out, those buyers. They're probably sweating it a little bit here. There was a big buyer in the market, and he's probably a little bit nervous. Just, you want to see, are they willing to keep coming back in? We're not really seeing the buyers come in properly yet. Still a lot of selling happening. 92. And realistically speaking, if we see a lot of sell numbers come in around that black line, then we know that buyer's probably out the market. It looks like it's hard to determine, but I do think some of them are dropping out. Yeah, boom, they dropped out. All right, so that institution that entered, they failed, right? And this is the reality of it, right? Only because it's a big institution doesn't mean they cannot lose. They lose all the time, but generally speaking, you have the highest probability by copying them, right? And trying to identify them and jump on their trades, right? What we're seeing here right now is really there's multiple big players. You know, we saw some big sellers come in around here, big chunks of sellers come in, and they're, you know, now their position is real, and they're going to try and defend their position. But we're seeing big buyers and big sellers still battling it out. So it didn't quite work out for that buyer, but you know, it is what it is. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. There's not much you can do, right? Okay, I get it. Something to counter the sell volume. Would that also not be absorption or seller Sammy before those big buyers came? Before those big buyers came. So absorption, the way to spot absorption, right? Andy, coach, great stream. I got chores to work on from my wife. Have a great day. No problem, Andy. I'll see you soon. Enjoy the chores. So Henny, the way to spot absorption, right, is a large number with zero movement, right? So because the way absorption is technically means when you have you know, the depth of market. So I'm just going to draw out a fake depth of market here, right? And you've got all the buy limits here, and you've got sell limits here, and you got price here, right? Now, absorption basically means, imagine you're buying, right? And here is, you know, the next available sell limit. And there's, I don't know, let's say 50 contracts on that level, right? And it's an iceberg order. So every time those 50 get executed, they replenish another 50, etc., etc. The way absorption works is it's passive, right? So buyers will keep buying into that level, but price just does not go above it, right? So you see a lot of big buy numbers, so massive buy numbers, you know, 150, 200, whatever, all in that kind of area, but price has not ticked above. So that's essentially absorption. That's how you see absorption, right? So if you're seeing numbers increase, but we're not going any higher, that is absorption. So you can see it in real time as well. So if you're seeing like, I haven't really seen it yet. Like technically absorption happens all the time, but like large scale absorption, obviously, right? So maybe at the highs here, we might see a little bit of it. See, this is all aggression right now, because all you're seeing is aggressive orders right now. So if we see, it still hasn't happened. It does look like buyers came back in, ZT. They did come back in. Like I said, this just seems like a battle between buyers and sellers. There seems to be big buyers, big sellers just fighting it out here. Oops. And the buyers were willing to buy it back up at the low again. So, All right, so this could be absorption. You see how the number is increasing, but we're not actually going much higher. That is technically absorption right there, right? Big numbers coming in, but we know that, I mean, yes, it's always going to be absorption because we just took out that high. So that's obviously buy limits, sorry, sell limits, right? SL, sell limits, all at the high. Not necessarily real sellers, but maybe, take profits, people who are, buyers who put their TP at that high, just getting executed. And that's essentially no different to absorption, right? That's exactly the same thing. But then look, real buyers coming back in, and they're able to, aggressive sellers coming back in. But yeah, so we didn't really get any absorption up there. That's more aggression versus aggression because the numbers are changing rapidly, right? And there you go. The buyers did eventually take it, so fair play to them. Fair play to them. And now we're at that high there. So we just saw a bunch of more take profits come in, sellers coming in. See, sellers are always willing to short it. They're very, very adamant, these sellers. Oh, my arm's hurting. So I just got to stretch my arm. All right, let's make a game plan. What's next? What do we see? I think, again, we're pretty bullish for the most part, I think, still. There were a lot of sellers earlier, who were adamant, but we still haven't taken out the New York Open. So anything can still happen. Sellers are still very happy to kind of short the market. But I don't think we'll really see a proper rip until we kind of, get above the New York Open. So above kind of here, then we'll probably see, so I think sellers will kind of give up and just accept that, all right, fine, it's a bullish market again, and we'll see a bit of a rip. But while we're in this kind of area as a whole, there's going to be plenty of sellers that will see it as, like, if you just look at the 15-minute, we'll probably see today as like, oh, well, this is just a retracement, right? They're going to be seeing it as, leg one, retracement, leg two, retracement, leg three, retracement, leg four. Do you know what I mean? And they can absolutely take over here and push the market down. That's still very possible. So until we really take out the New York high and we get that, I don't think, sellers are truly going to give up yet. They're going to still short the market all the way in this area. You're going to still see all these sellers come in, and buyers have to keep adding and adding and adding. And it's going to be a bit of a choppy up and down kind of, battle until eventually something breaks. And then sellers will kind of back off and be like, all right, fine. And a lot of people will start flipping into bullish mode, and people will start be willing to buy more. And then that snowball effect kicks in. But while it's like this, yeah, you're going to have two opposing markets, right? You're going to see people who ultimately see the longer term trend and see that this whole move down is just a retracement from this move up, right? And they're all buying, buying, buying. And that's exactly what we kind of got at the bottom here. All people just willing to buy because they're seeing that as a retracement. And then you got the other side that see this as bearish structure and are seeing this current move up as a retracement back down. So it's going to be very choppy, unfortunately. So until one breaks and becomes clear that, okay, and they give up, you're not really going to get the smoothest market, Would you say it's highly likely that high from yesterday will be taken out today, or do you think it's more likely to range? The high from yesterday, so high from yesterday. Well, the high from yesterday is up here. That was already taken out, CT content. Or do you mean the high from like today's session up here, 26,489 roughly? Yeah. Again, very hard to tell at this moment in time. Like I said, very, very hard to tell. It does, like, if I had to place a bet, I would say buyers are probably going to take control of this market, right? And I think buyers overwhelmingly will probably beat it. But there are plenty of sellers still in the market, plenty of people still willing to short, and they can take control. This is the problem. They can absolutely take control. There's nothing, because like I explained just a minute ago about the two opposing views, you can view the market in two ways right now. Either look at the more longer term bullish move and see this whole move down as a retracement, or look at the kind of midterm, like what we had today, intraday, and see this as like, oh, well, this is just a pullback on the bearish side and people are still willing to short. But I think people are slowly starting to drop out a little bit because of what happened here, right? We had a push down, a retracement, technically, failure, created a higher low, and then we took out that. So it's already the first sign of bullish structure on the short term. And I think there's more sellers are going to kind of, give up as we get closer to the New York high and this overall high. Now, don't get me wrong, there's going to be a shit ton of sellers willing to short here because it's a high, right? It's a significant high for the intraday. So there's going to definitely be people willing to sell, but they're slowly, as we keep trickling up, sellers are going to be a little bit more cautious until we get closer to this kind of area, and then we're going to see sellers come back in. We might get a little retracement, but then as long as buyers are willing to buy it back up, we'll break it, and I think we'll go to the high of the day again. So yeah, it's just going to be a bit of a slow grind, I think. Amit, good to see you. Sammy, how do you see ES for today? I haven't looked at the ES. Let's have a quick look. Let's take a look, see, yeah? Let's see what the ES is showing. I'm assuming it's going to be similar to the NQ today, but I might be wrong. It might be completely different. Sometimes it does that. So I'm just going to go on a 15-minute just to get overall. Oh, okay. The ES actually is a bit different to the NQ. Interesting. All right. Like, we're nowhere near the New York Open on the ES. The NQ is trading a lot higher up. So that's a tough one. Again, same thing applies with the ES right now. You're going to have two massive opposing views, right? You're going to have people who see it as, all right, well, this is obviously such a bullish trend and this is just a retracement. And, it's all about buying the dip. And then you're going to see the more intraday perspective of people saying, well, this is like bearish structure, and this little move up is going to be a retracement to short. So in terms of volume, let's have a look at the volume. That might give us a bit of a clue. I'm trying to get the footprint up. There we go. Come on. Ugh. All right. I'm just going to switch it to auto so I can see the clusters. All right, here we go. So we had New York Open, shit ton of sellers coming in, boom, 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 boom. They're pushing it down. Great, great, great. They're all happy. Bit of a push up, a retracement. You can see a lot of sellers getting essentially stopped out there. A lot of these big sellers all getting, out at break even. So we kind of want to ignore this volume for now. And it's really what happens here that's kind of important, right? And then we had some fresh buying, a lot of buying coming in, bit of trickling or selling, but nothing major. And majority of the sell volume is actually below us right now. And we've got big buyers coming in, big buyers coming in. So for me, 15-minute volume distribution is definitely more bullish on the ES, right? Because if you just ignore the opening, because these guys are probably, majority are probably out the market already, right? you're going to have, like this buy volume that came in, that's probably most likely, and you can kind of see it matching up, right? Look, there's a big chunk of sellers that came in, and there happens to be a big chunk of buyers also in the same level. That's because as we went down, these people were chasing the market, right? Shorting it. And basically the market came back up into their entry, and they just got out at break even. And then as we got a bit higher again, you see another big chunk of buying exactly where there's a big chunk of selling that happened. Again, these people just getting out at break even, right? Now we do still have some sellers right here from right at the beginning that could still be in play, right? But essentially all this volume in these two candles on this part, you can just ignore it, just scribble it out. That's all done. It's not going to have any effect anymore. You can just forget about what you see there. This is where it becomes more important. You had some fresh sellers trying to come in and take control. They failed. They've been trapped. They're out the market. They're definitely squeezed out already. Had some buyers come in, and some big chunks of buyers come in, and these guys are doing okay right now, right? For now, they're doing okay, right? They managed to kind of get the market above their entry. So, if we just draw a line around there. So as long as the market kind of stays above and you see buyers willing to keep trying to get that market up and not really get much below this kind of area here, this could remain very bullish, right? And really, it's only these guys. Now, whether these guys are still in the market, very hard to say. Some of them could have trickled out already, but there's a lot of volume there. So realistically speaking, I would say there is still some of these shorts are still in play, right? So until we truly kind of get above here and squeeze them out, and we see a bunch of buy volume come in around this kind of area or above, like here, then you know that everything that happened in the open, all the sellers are out the market, they're done, they're dusted, and this is a brand new cycle. And as long as buyers are willing to keep buying, we're going to keep going up. Does that make sense? But in this moment in time, it does look more bullish just based on who is currently doing best in the market. And it's these guys here, right? It's these buyers right here who are doing the best. They're happy. They've got skin in the game. They are defending, and they could succeed. So, but if they drop out and fail, so if we get below them and they start dropping out, well, yeah, absolutely, they're gone, because these sellers might defend their position. So we're kind of, in a weird way, a little bit trapped between two big kind of areas, right? We've got decent buyers at the bottom, and we still have a few sellers at play from the open at the top here. And I think that's kind of why we're just a little bit, we're wicking into that area, and there seems to be a bit of pushback. So I wouldn't personally enter a trade yet, because it could kind of go both ways. But it really depends. Like, I would be more willing to buy if we get higher up and we see this volume here get squeezed out on the buy side, right? So we see big buy numbers, so big buy contracts, all in this kind of area. We can kind of determine that that's these sellers getting out. And then I'll be more inclined to be willing to buy, right? And I'll be willing to short more likely if we get below those buyers and we see big sellers come in, because then we can determine that's these buyers getting stopped out or getting out the market. Does that make sense? But while we're in the middle here, it becomes a little bit 50-50, because we don't know what either side are willing to do or how far they'll take it. So it becomes a bit of a coin flip. Can you please check the NQ footprint? Absolutely. Let's do the NQ footprint. NQ. Go to the 1 minute. A little fly here. Go away. All right. Go back to manual 16. Let's have a look. Yeah, so we're just ranging on the NQ. not much really to see right now, truth be told. We've got I'm going to get rid of this black line because that's kind of pointless, and I'm going to redraw the low of the range and the high of the range, like here. So I'm trying to figure out the story, right? So, okay, we can ignore this volume here. And then a bunch of sellers came in, bunch of buyers. No one's really winning. Everyone's kind of losing here. It's all just chaos. Bunch of buyers, big seller coming in, trying to push that market down, instantly got stopped. Again, big buyers willing to come back in, instantly stopped. The only thing is this candle here that looks good, right? This candle right here looks good. So what we saw there is sellers did actually take out the low of the range, right? This low here. And we saw a bit of, we saw some stops get taken out from the buyers. But buyers, I didn't see what happened in real time there, how much the numbers spiked. Oh, look at that. Sellers dropping out. Those are sellers exiting. That big volume there, that's sellers getting out the market. Now the questions, and now it becomes, again, this is kind of the shake-up you need, right? In order for a range to break, you need to see one side kind of exit the market, right? And then we need to see the buyers come in again. So this is what going to determine what's going to happen right here. So we know that volume there is all the sellers basically getting out at the top of the range. Now we want to see, are buyers willing to keep buying higher up? So we want to look at these numbers currently coming in, 50, 64. There's a bit of buying, 60, 66, 57, but nothing big, right? Nothing major yet. It's all just little numbers, right? So we're looking at chunks of volume. Who is more kind of eager? 19, 30, 35, 29. It's all just small kind of chunks. 58, 64. There it is. Boom. That's it right there. These guys here, there was a bit of size being put in, right? Someone is willing to buy higher up. So I think these guys might be the breakout people. Now, if they can keep the market afloat, imagine if you entered here and you're scalping, your stop is going to be there or maybe there. So we want to see these people remain effective and kind of keep adding and break above here. But that was the first little chunk of volume right there we saw. And now they're breaking above. So those were the guys that looked like they're the ones who are going to take over and potentially cause a breakout, right? So you saw it, a few seconds before the breakout, you saw it kind of happen in the volume, right? And that's all this volume here is a lot of sellers as well getting the hell out. So we will need to keep seeing that buy side volume come in, right? But there again, so did you see how quick you have to kind of react to it, sadly, when you're scalping? You get maybe a few seconds at most to make that decision. And the moment we saw it here, again, you might want to replay it, right? We saw, I think it was like 50 or 70 was the number. It went from essentially like 0 or next to nothing, and it jumped to like 50 to 70 instantly. Meaning some big player put in 50 or 70 contracts in one go aggressively. They're now they're the person in the market with big enough balls to take that risk, and they're probably going to defend. So as long as, we don't go really below them and we stay afloat, so we can have a really tight stop, you could have entered a buy there, put your stop really tight and bet on that big guy, that big buyer to keep the market propped up and keep coming in aggressively and create that breakout, and they managed to be successful, right? So I hope that kind of makes sense. And yeah, so you can see it in real time. You just have to be super quick sometimes. And unfortunately, it's one of those things where you got to look at it in real time. You can't really look at it in hindsight and be like, oh yeah, sometimes you can, but it really is kind of a real time thing, because like hypothetically, right? You don't know if, because if you didn't see that happen in real time, you wouldn't have known that was someone entering, like 70 contracts in one go. It could have just been 70 people entering one contract each. And then if that was the case, they're going to be useless, right? They're not really going to be able to keep that market propped up. But because we identified and we saw it in real time, it was one big kind of player putting in 70 contracts, which is a big amount for one person, right? All right, cool. We have someone we can back, And then again, the same story happens. Every time you see sellers come back in, you want to see buyers stop those sellers, right? Get above them like that. Get above those sellers and not really let them out. So now we've got a bunch of sellers potentially stuck here. We don't really want to go lower than this, right? We want to keep buyers. We want to see that number drop more into the buy side now from 72, 16, 32, good, 42. All right, keep holding, keep holding, keep holding. And the moment you see the buyers fail, right, that's when you want to get out. So 49, 36, nothing terrible yet. Oh, big chunk of buyers. Beautiful, beautiful. We're good. Keep holding, keep holding. You can move your stop now, to just below that wick there, because if we get below there, then all right, it's a retracement or something. Get the hell out, right? 75, 64. You want to see buyers keep coming in. So you either want to see buyers fail or buyers exhaust themselves and stop willing to buy, right? 96, 84, 50, 40. Okay, so there we saw a bit of failure from the buyers, right? It went up to 84, dropped back down to 44. It's not a huge amount, but that was the first sign of a little bit of failure there, because we saw a chunk of buyers come in and they don't really do much. So unless buyers are willing to come back in now, and we're seeing sellers come in below them, this is the first red flag right here. This is the first red flag for that buy position, right? So you want to kind of see, are buyers still willing to kind of defend and get back in, but you're seeing sellers trying to jump, trying to take advantage here. So you're going to give it a few more seconds, let those buyers, but this is your first red flag. So we really need to get above there quickly. We want to see aggression from the buyers come in quickly and get above. All right, we're seeing some buyers come back in. They might have just held it. They might just be able to keep control, but that was the first slip there from the buyers. So we're seeing a little bit, the numbers are, there's getting a bit better now. 85, good. Oh, back down to 49. Come on, we want to get above, back to 28. Get above, that's it. Reloaded, back to 70. Beautiful, come on. 17, reload, get it high, get that number nice and high. 21, we want to see we don't want to see that. We want to see, look at that, sellers are willing to come back in. So buyers need to be more aggressive than those sellers to get it up higher. 39, 52, look at that, sellers are reloading. This kind of area here is the first red flag. It's not 100% terrible yet, because buyers are still coming in, but they need to come in heavy. When you see a big chunk, there it is, 71, beautiful. Went from 11 to 71. So there's a big buyer right there. Good. Now they got to, boom, shoot it up any second now. You're going to see this pop. Boom, there it is. Sellers out the market again, stopped. Maybe some take profits. I've got a black line there, so I wonder what that black line is. Is that high? That's that high there. So that's a lot of take profits right there. Buyers taking profit. It went to 300, so we know some buyers have exited the market, right? And now we're looking at what is happening next. Still, buyers are willing to buy. So buyers are doing very, they're not giving up. Look at that. They're just willing to buy. They're all good. They're happy. Look at this. They're adding a lot of volume. Boom. Now we've taken out the New York Open. So the high of, from the open. And I can imagine, like I said, sellers are probably going to give up around this kind of area and be like, all right, fine. It's no longer a short. We're going bullish, So, yeah, kind of see it in real time. Sorry, I got this annoying fly. It keeps buzzing around my face. Just go away. I did shower today. I don't know. NQ, where do you see the potential short on NQ? No longer a potential short. If there was going to be a short on NQ, it would have happened here. But the buyers, it would have happened near this high here, right? The New York open high, which is that black line. You saw the sellers. A few sellers were willing to try and take control, but the buyers, yeah, beautiful. And now look how easy the market's moving. It's not that choppy anymore because once we took out that high, sellers have given up. They're like, all right, fine. It's bullish. It's not any more bearish. It's fine. And because now that structure, that intraday structure is no longer really in play, right? Because anyone who was viewing the market as, oh, leg one, pullback, leg two, pullback, leg three, pullback, they're no longer seeing this as a pullback. They're seeing this as, shit, this is a break in structure. Like, all right, fine. It's bullish now. So they're not going to short it anymore. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. You're still going to get some people shorting the daily high around here, which we're pro, because of course it's a significant area. You're going to get some shorts. And you might even get a bit of a pullback, don't get me wrong. But nonetheless, the majority of people are seeing it as bullish now. So it's unlikely we're going to get like, massive kind of sellers come in, really. Are those numbers on the footprint contracts hit at the buy and sell button? Yes, Henny. This is literally all you're seeing are people hitting buy and sell. Just the aggressive orders, all right? It is quite special listening to you cheering up the buyers while I'm in a short and in a good market. Oh, Daniel, I'm sorry. I do apologize, but chat with MG, haha, you are hilarious about the flies. Thank you. It is very annoying. It's still, I don't know where it's gone now. It's buzzing around. But have we taken out the high of the day? Almost. We're getting close. Because naturally, the problem with the high of the day, and this is what, where the hell are we? There it is. We're almost there. The reason you get a slowdown, and it's again completely logical, right? Imagine the amount of people, if you weren't along, anywhere here, where's your take profit going to be? The majority of people's take profit is going to be the high of the day. It's just such an obvious place, right? So the moment we touch that, you're just going to get a bunch of buyers exiting the market, right? And when a lot of people exit, of course, some people are going to still hold or whatever. Some people playing a long-term move, great. But in terms of like scalpers and intraday traders, a lot of people are out the market. So you kind of get, hit a pause in the market for a few seconds, and that kind of allows a few sellers who are interested in shorting to potentially take control, because there's anyone who did buy, they've got nothing left to defend. They're out the market. They're not going to rebuy again. You've just, if you were in a great trade, just hypothetically, right? Imagine you entered, in this consolidation, and you entered a buy, somewhere here, and you had your take profit up here. You've just been, you hit your TP, you're happy, you're like, woo. And now it's retracing. Why would you're not going to buy again, right? You're out the market. You've got nothing left to defend. You've taken your money. You're closing your computer. You're good. So that allows sellers to potentially take control again, But so what you would need to rely on now are new, fresh buyers who are just greedy, I guess, who just want to keep this market going up. And they have to keep buying it in order to keep it going up. But you're also going to get less likelihood there's going to be sellers willing to short it now that we broke that structure. There's going to be a few maniacs obviously willing to still short at the high, don't get me wrong, but not that many as there were before, who saw it as a retracement. So but we didn't technically touch it. So I can imagine there are still buyers right now screaming at their computer the fact that we got we got like a tick away from TP, and they're probably shitting their pants a little bit. They're probably feeling all right now, but as we could have pushed down a bit, I can imagine there was a few buyers being like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, these." Getting a bit annoyed. And there, boom, look at them. All the take profits get triggered. You see that right there? That's all take profit. All take profits getting triggered. That's buyers exiting the market, popping the champagne, celebrating right there. That's what it is. So we've identified a big chunk of buyers are out the market. You can ignore that volume there. That volume doesn't really matter. And what happens after this candle is going to help determine whether we get a pullback. Are we going to just straight up continue? Do you know what I mean? That's what then matters. I made 337 on my funded account. We need this volume footprint, man. It's given me so much clarity. Thanks, Sammy. You're welcome, Henny. I'm glad and great that you made that's a good profit, 337. Really good stuff. Sammy, it's really incredible how you describe the battles that take place so accurately. It's like listening to a commentator describing Napoleon's wars. If only you could develop a custom indicator that could display everything you're describing. But in all the years I've been in trading and all the trade rooms I've been in, I've never seen anyone describing the action so well. Thank you, ZT Content. You know what? I mean, I'm trying to think, could you create an indicator that could do it? I think you could, because it's not that difficult. All the indicator would need to, that's a great idea, actually. That is a phenomenal idea. Because all the indicator would need to do is be able to mark out all the obvious highs and lows and, just basically highs and lows, right? And put a score on each one. So, for example, this big one, high of day, A+, right? Big high. Whereas like a little one, like this little low here, not that significant, but still mark it out because there's going to be stops, there's going to be whatever below it, right? And then whenever price touches one of those areas or in and around it within like a few points, if the volume spikes up, then you can identify, right, take profit, stop loss, whatever, and then you can just have the indicator mark out like a little label here, buyers took profit. And then you're like, okay, cool. Yeah, that could be possible. I'll see if ChatGPT can code something like that. I'll give it a try after the stream. It could very well be possible. Hussein, are you using indicator to see footprint? No, Hussein. So it's not an indicator. It's actually a chart type called volume footprint. Okay. But there are a few caveats to it. So you need to have the premium trading view, and you also need a CME data subscription, and it will only work on CME or COMEX products, right? Once you have the subscription. So basically only futures, and it's got to say CME or COMEX, then you're good to go. And that's the real volume data. If you want to know how to set it up, there's a video on my channel. It's called how to set up the volume footprint chart on TradingView, something like that. And I show, how to set it up, how to get it, and also how to make it look like the settings I personally use. So if you want it to look like mine, but you can play around with it, most of it is personal preference anyway. So I have it. So perfect. Okay, I'll take a look. Thanks. No problem, Hussein. So yeah, so we're slowing down because essentially, all right, so this is the first sign that there could be a pullback, right? So remember, ignore this volume here, right? Anything from this 237, maybe even this 100, but basically 237, 171, 85, all those numbers did spike up even higher, but that's what it closed at. Now, this is the first sign of a pullback because you can ignore this as take profits, right? So that is buy TP, right? And the reason we know that there could be a sign of a pullback here, it's not only is it a significant high, obviously, but also we can ignore that volume. We did have some fresh buyers come in. So these people here were people trying to buy, trying to play the breakout. Same with these guys here, 79, trying to play the breakout. Now, these guys are vulnerable, not really working out in their favor, right? We're starting to push against them. There are some sellers coming in, right? Fresh sellers coming in. We know they're fresh and not people getting trailed out, because if it was people trailing, any buyers who were trailing this move and moving their stop up and up and up as we moved up, they would have got trailed out here, right? Okay. But we know that this is fresh volume now. That buyer and those sellers are real. They're people with intention. Those buyers probably got their stops around here. They're probably struggling a bit, right? That little spike in sell volume most likely is a form of, some buyers getting stopped out, just because kind of makes sense that there'll be some buyers playing it really, really, trailing still, right? And probably trailing below this candle because it's a big candle. They probably put their stops, below that candle or in and around it and just got triggered out. So we can ignore that sell volume as well, right? Here's some real buyers again. These buyers is what matters. If these buyers fail to get it much higher up and sellers are able to come in a bit aggressively, but we're starting to see the first few signs of a potential pullback occurring, right? And not so much anymore. Now that those sellers are kind of trapped, buyers are coming back in. They are actually quite effective. And it looks like they might actually break out and take it. But if, and it's a big if, right? If sellers here were able to get below those buyers, we would have got a pullback, because those buyers would have probably had their stops around here, right? And they would have been essentially, cleared, right? They would have been, their stops would have been triggered if we got below there. But they kept the market up. These buyers were fresh. We could see those were fresh buyers. They were fresh buyers. These guys are fresh buyers. All real volume with intention behind it, right? Same with these guys, real fresh buyers. Oops, I can't barely draw. Same with these guys. Same with these guys. They're coming in heavy. Notice how the sellers that do come in are just getting trapped below. We're not getting a pullback. This is a continuation. So if you were to have gone in short, you would have known probably at this candle, it's not going to work out. This candle right here would probably be your first sign. Yeah, this is not going to work out. I probably want to get out. But for a few moments there, those buyers looked like they could have been squeezed out, but they never really got out, right? Some buyers did exit here, but they were willing to keep buying, and these people didn't fail. They actually managed to keep the market up. So we're going to get a breakout. But if they failed and we got below them, yeah, we would have had a retracement. We would have had a pullback. Like, definitely would have had a pullback. The sellers are still coming in. Could still potentially happen, but I wouldn't really want to short here. I would only want to buy, but I wouldn't also want to buy at the top, because you just become vulnerable, because sellers can take advantage. You just don't have enough backing. So I would really only kind of want to buy once we've retraced a little bit down again, then potentially look for a buy. But yeah. But the main move of the day pretty much has happened. And that is literally it. Sammy, your ongoing comments with order flow events has already helped me a lot in gaining. Shit, sorry. I'm trying to hit this fly in it. Sorry, Mark. helped me a lot in gaining an understanding of price action. Thanks so much. I look forward to continue learning from you. You're absolutely welcome, Mark. Brilliant stream of consciousness. Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much. I'm glad it's helping. Yeah. But the most important thing is always just look at it as like logic, you know. If something logically makes sense, always assume the most logical conclusion is really what's actually happening. I don't like to subscribe to like conspiracy kind of theories in the market, like, oh, there's a institution that wants to take my stop loss and all this kind of stuff. Like, no one's going to move the market to take someone's stop loss, really. It's more just about, I actually know it kind of does happen a bit, but that's more because it releases pressure in the market when stops get hit. Do you know what I mean? No, someone is not anymore, once a stop has been hit or a take profit, it's the same thing as a stop essentially. People exit, and then that means no one's got something left to defend anymore, you know? So it opens up new opportunity. Great info as always, Sammy. Keep up the great work, my friend. Thank you, Coach C. You need to understand the principles to get to the logic. Yeah, and retail is in a drop in a bucket. We can't move the needle. Exactly. Like retail traders, like we just don't. Like we appear, don't get me wrong, there's retail traders here, but they're just a tiny little, you know, when you see the contract move by like one, might be a retail trader out there placing a trade. It's cute, but it doesn't do anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, even if 100 retail traders all enter at once, okay, you will see 100 in the volume, but it's all 100 individuals, all with different views of the market. You know, some people will have their stops here. Others are looking to swing trades. They've got their stops like a mile back. Some people are willing to just get out right here and take profit. Some people all the way up to here. If it goes back to the entry, some people are getting out and taking break even. Other people are going to hold it. And, you know, some people might add an extra contract, but it's not going to do anything. It's all just, you know, it's 100 contracts, but it's all just, everyone's got a different view on what happens. So whereas if a institution enters 100 in one go, all right, they're, you know, whatever they decide to do is actually going to make an impact. Because if it goes back to where they entered, if they decide to exit, all right, fine, they're out the market. But if they decide to add and defend, okay, they can push that market up because they've got the money, you know, they've got the resources to do it. So that's what becomes important. So always the chunks in volume is very, very, very important. Like the remoras attaching themselves to the institutional sharks. Exactly. We're crumb collectors. This is this is what we are as retail traders. We're crumb collectors. We're looking for the big sharks, the big whales, the big fish, and we're just trying to, you know, collect a little bit of plankton that falls out of their mouth, and that's our dinner, essentially. That is what all we're trying to do, and that's enough. That's all you need, really. You know, we don't need to move the markets. We just need to identify who is, and if we can do that half decent and do it, get it correct more often than when we get it wrong, that's it. That's all you need. That's how you make money. But yeah, this market is going to probably, you know, relax a bit. There are still some buyers willing to buy. And I do think buyers are going to keep pushing this market up for the most part. You might get a pullback eventually here and there, but ultimately I think it's pretty much, you know, the buyers are going to take this because every time we get a pullback, there's going to be buyers just willing to buy it. But yeah, the main move is kind of done. And that is pretty much it, I would say. So guys, I think I'm going to leave it there. Thank you all for tuning in as always. I'll be back tomorrow. Oh, damn. All right. Damn. Well, right there, you just saw, sorry, before I exit, I'll just explain. So remember all these buyers, right? All these guys who are probably doing okay. These guys here as well. Yeah, they just all got just destroyed right now. They're all out the market. So all this volume is gone. So now what matters is what happens after. If loads of sellers come in, if loads of buyers come in, like they are, we're probably going to go back up again. They're probably going to take control again, and it's just going to go back up. But if a bunch of sellers start coming in and buyers fail, we're actually going to have a more significant pullback. So, bit of an opportunity. But yeah, anyway, I'll leave it at that. Thank you all for watching. I will be back tomorrow, same time, New York Open. So tune in then. But have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Thank you. Where's the end stream button gone? Ah, there it is.